Hi, I was watching a movie today. I watched it before, but I was watching it again about called the Shock Doctrine, about how radical free market economics helped the dictatorships of Pinochet and the dictatorship of Argentina. I forget the guy's name in the 1970s. And people were disappeared. People who spoke up against this regime, they were called Marxists, and they were killed and tortured by people who learned how to do it here in America at the School of Americas. And we are very close to fascism here. And this isn't in this country, and this isn't hyperbole. I think we are at greater danger of having fascism than any time since the 1930s. And now there's a bill, provision of Section 1867 of the National Defense Authorization Act bill that would allow people to be detained indefinitely. Congress had that it would not affect U.S. citizens, but Obama has a problem with that language and wants to change it. So it could be with could apply to American citizens. So I just want to say I just am going to go over some 14 characteristics of fascism. There has been fascism in Spain under Franco, Hitler, of course, Mussolini in Italy, Suharto in Indonesia, Pinochet in Chile, and this professor, Dr. Lawrence Brett, examined these and found that each dictatorship, each fascist dictatorship had these 14 characteristics. 1. Powerful and continuing nationalism. Fascist regimes tend to make constant use of patriotic mottos, slogans, symbols, songs, and other paraphernalia. Flags are seen everywhere, as are flag symbols on clothing and in public displays. There is a fetishizing of the flag. There is jingoistic behavior, basically saying that we are Americans, we are an exceptional nation, even more so than others, being blind to our faults, having a cowboy foreign policy. And I notice in these right-wing websites, the flag is everywhere. You see the flag, and you see the cross. And I think it was Sinclair who said, if fascism comes to America, it will be wrapped in the flag carrying a cross. Number 2, disdain for the recognition of human rights. Because of fear of enemies and the need for security, the people in fascist regimes are persuaded that human rights can be ignored in certain cases because of need. The people tend to look the other way or even approve of torture, summary executions, assassinations, long incarceration of prisoners, etc. Right now it's Muslims. And I'm not saying, some of the people who are detained are actual threats to the nation, are actually Al-Qaeda, but a majority of the people aren't. And what I'm afraid of is if they're using it against Muslims today, they might be using it against others they consider a threat, like let's say the Occupy Wall Street people. Which leads to number 3. Identification of enemies, scapegoats as a unifying cause. The people are rallied into a unifying patriotic frenzy over the need to eliminate a perceived common threat or foe. Racial, ethnic, or religious minorities, liberals, communists, socialists, terrorists, etc. And right now, the enemy absolute is Muslims. But I can also see it go the way of homosexuals as well. I could see social conservatives rallying, creating the anti-sodomy laws, arresting people who are gay, possibly sending them to ex-gay therapy, and possibly even in defense of using Leviticus to actually kill them. 4. Supremacy of the military. Even when there are widespread domestic problems, the military is given a disproportionate amount of government funding, and the domestic agenda is neglected. Soldiers and military service are glamorized. Now, I believe that the soldiers, for the most part, are brave men and women fighting for their country. But it's the people who are sending them into harm's way, the people who are fetishizing the military, the people who say, "Oh, we can't cut the defense budget. We need the defense budget. We need to make planes and aircraft carriers that are obsolete." And basically because they want to keep employees in their district continue working at defense plants. But I mean, why can't you convert the defense plants into like creating green energy or creating something more useful for humanity than weapons of war? 5. Rampant sexism. The governments of fascist nations tend to be almost exclusively male-dominated. Under fascist regimes, traditional gender roles are made more rigid. Divorce, abortion, and homosexuality are suppressed, and the state is represented as the ultimate guardian of the family institution. How many times have you heard conservatives talk about family values? You're the Family Research Council. And I mean, they basically say that a lot of the problems we have is because women are working. I mean, and now, I mean, it's kind of stupid to say that they should just go home and take care of their man, because the economy is such that most families have to have 2 jobs. The only difference is I don't think rampant sexism, rampant homophobia, maybe, but not sexism, because a lot of the leaders of this movement are women. Michelle Bachmann, Sarah Palin, Kelly Ayotte, Sarah O'Donnell. So there are women in this, so I don't think rampant sexism. 6. Controlled mass media. Sometimes the media is directly controlled by the government, but in other cases the media is indirectly controlled by government regulation or sympathetic media spokespeople and executives. Censorship, especially in wartime, is very common. We have a free press. A lot of people say the liberal control the media. It's not liberal or conservative. Everyone by Fox, it's the corporations that control America. If it bleeds, it leads. But Fox is a whole different animal. Fox, talking about how pepper spray is a food. Basically praising the Tea Party and denigrating the Occupy Wall Street movement. Praising right-wing conservative leaders while mocking Democratic leaders. You can take the news and say we disagree with them, but they're mocking. And the thing is, this is not hyperbole. I could see if a fascist government comes to power, Fox would be the news source. Fox would be the propaganda arm of a fascist government. The stage is set. All we need is the right dictator. 7. Obsession with national security. Fear is used as a motivational tool by the government over the masses. The Patriot Act. Saying your opponent is weak on terror. Making everything about security. And Obama's guilty of this just as much as the Republicans are. I think it was Patrick Henry said think. Those who sacrifice liberty for security deserve neither. 8. Religion and government are intertwined. Governments in fascist nations tend to use the most common religion in their nation as a tool to manipulate public opinion. Religious rhetoric and terminology is common from government leaders, even when the major tenets of the religion are diametrically opposed to the government's policies or actions. Look at Rush Limbaugh. Look at Glenn Beck. Look at Michelle Bachmann. Look at Rick Perry. I mean, they wrap themselves in the flag, and they carry the cross. And their teachings are diametrically opposed to Christianity. And there is a separation of church and state for a reason. So church and state don't commingle and make it hard for everyone who isn't participating in that sect. 9. Corporate power is protected. The industrial and business aristocracy of a fascist nation often are the ones who put the government's leaders into power, creating a mutually beneficial business-government relationship and power elite. Did someone say the Koch brothers? Did someone say Grover Norquist? Did someone say Americans for Prosperity, which is a Koch brothers organization? Politics and money have never been as intertwined as they are now. I remember episode of Babylon 5 where Ephraim Zimbalist Jr.'s character said, there is no leftist government, there is no rightist government. It's a corporation. It's been there for a long time, and maybe this is when it's starting. 10. Labor power suppressed. Because the organizing power of labor is the only real threat to a fascist government, labor unions are either eliminated entirely or severely suppressed. There aren't a lot of labor unions in private industry. I mean, they've been basically gutted, and they're gutting public unions. I mean, look at the anti-collective bargaining initiatives. Look at what my governor, Scott Walker, did. 11. Disdain for intellectuals and the arts. Fascist nations tend to promote and tolerate open hostility to higher education and academia. It's not uncommon for professors and other academics to be censored or even arrested. Free expression in the arts and letters is openly attacked. I don't think this is prevalent, but you do have like people trying to eliminate the foundation for the arts. But I really don't think this applies. 12. Obsession with crime and punishment. Under fascist regimes, the police are given almost limitless power to enforce laws. The people are willing to overlook police abuses and even forego civil liberties in the name of patriotism. There is often a national police force with virtually unlimited power in fascist nations. And we've seen tastes of that in how the police cracked down on Occupy Wall Street. Pike and the pepper spray of those people who were just sitting. The pepper spraying of an elderly woman. There are good people who are police officers, but I do believe that it's very easy for the police force to be paramilitarized. I think this is going to, I'm going to have a second part. So, bye, and I'll be with you in a few.